All right, my name is Meg Haroldsen, and we decided to do our project on Central Bank of Utah, which is a community bank that has over $2 billion in assets. They have 11 branches all over Utah County, and they specialize in consumer and commercial construction loans. They have about 300 employees throughout the branches and corporate office and are continuing to grow. The problem that we're trying to solve is that Central Bank has extremely low employee satisfaction. The reason for this is because the people at the top want to have the biggest salaries and give huge bonuses to managers and assistant managers, while the employees that keep the bank running get paid poorly and don't receive any bonuses. The consequences of the problem are that they struggle to keep employees or hire employees because they want to rely on their culture being enough to keep employees happy. While culture is important, feeling like you're being compensated fairly for the work you put in is arguably the most important factor in a job. Solving this problem is important because employees deserve to be treated fairly for their work effort, especially when the company can afford to do so. They will not have any employees in the future if this problem is not solved. The reason this is an organizational behavior issue is because pay rates and bonuses, as well as employee appreciation efforts, are one of the most important aspects of employee satisfaction. While change in pay as well as addition of bonuses for all employees would need to be discussed with the CFO, the change is happening because we want to be able to retain quality employees. So the steps to get this increase of pay fall within the POLC framework, which we learned about in this class, and the planning aspect of this provides us with the mission of fair compensation and a minimized pay gap. The hardest part about this change will be the organization and leading side of it. We would need to get all of the managers on board, which would be difficult considering that they will have their bonus slightly decreased. Hopefully they will have an understanding that if they have a slight decrease in their already huge bonuses, they will have better employees and in turn be able to increase production. The controlling side of this would require a meeting with the controller and accounting team, which would not be super difficult to attain. I worked there as a loan assistant for a little over a year, and in the time I was there, I basically did the work of 4 officers, while they sat around chatting with other employees. Yet they were the ones that received $15,000 or more bonuses each quarter, plus a hefty salary. They got a bonus that was a large percentage of their loan portfolio. However, all they did for the loans was the initial underwriting, which is basically getting the loan docs, making sure that their financials are in order. Everything after that was done by me and one other loan assistant. I did inspections of all of our properties monthly to ensure the projects were moving along as we were paying things out, completed draw sheets, which is the breakdown of the construction budget that keeps track of what we're spending as the project moves forward, and I cut lien waiver checks, which are special checks that are used specifically for construction projects. I made interest payments, contacted customers regarding late payments, and so many other random things. It was upsetting that I was never compensated fairly for my work.
Hey guys, I'm Ulysses. So like Meg just touched on, the current state at Central Bank, where employees, particularly those lower on the totem pole, just feeling overworked and underpaid, is kind of what we want to address. We think a few small changes and a lot of buy-in from the higher up managers can help everybody feel fairly compensated and appreciated. Making these changes will be worth the effort, as it will increase tenure for lower level employees. They'll stick around for longer and ease the difficulty of keeping the lower level positions staffed, as it would make it more competitive with the market, as well as increase employee satisfaction overall. There are a lot of entry-level positions at the central bank, and it's pretty difficult to keep these positions staffed. But with competitive compensation, we think that this could change. Well, we think that this could be achieved by improving compensation for lower-level employees, like I was mentioning. We think the best way to go about this would be to increase the hourly or entry-level employees' base salaries by $2, as well as including them in the bonus pools. This could be done by giving them a small cut of each loan that they work on or that they are involved with. These percentages could be increased the longer the employee works there. Additionally, we think that central bank could benefit from a clear delineation of work roles and responsibilities, just as some of the lower level employees feeling that they're taking on more than they could chew. Our goals for achieving the previously mentioned steps include increasing all hourly employees' base pay by $2 and distributing 2% of the managers' and officers' bonuses among the hourly employees involved in those loans. This would be distributed quarterly, the same as the manager and officer bonuses. Central bank loans multiple $1 million every month. So increasing the base pay of the 200 hourly workers by $2, and if they're all working, the 40 hours a week, 52 weeks, that's about $832,000 a year, which is a drop in the bucket with central bank. The amount is the same a single branch makes in interest payments in a single month, and so this is definitely achievable. So as you can see, making this change would definitely work out. The more difficult side would be decreasing the manager and officer bonuses and just getting their buy-in on this. But like Meg described, we think that this is possible. Just meeting with them and discussing, this is going to relieve everybody's workload a little bit by filling out the vacancies and the turnover that's going on. For this change to be successful, it makes sense for it to be carried out quickly, but while still providing employees with transparent information throughout the whole process. And we think that this could be easily achieved in about 6 months, as long as we're talking to employees and helping them along the process. Before these changes are made, hourly employees are obviously feeling like they're underpaid and overworked. They have the lower level positions would continue to go understaffed, as central bank won't provide competitive compensation because the understaffed branches employees would have to pick up the slack for those missing employees, and stress and turnover would just continue to rise. And after these changes are made, hourly employees will feel compensated and will feel like they have a future at a company that values them and their effort. Resentment for the upper management would be significantly reduced, and starting positions could be filled much more easily, as new hires would feel more involvement with the loans under their purview.
Awesome, thank you. So the last step to this is who we need to talk to make these changes happen. The first part is going to be Alan Blackham, who is the CFO of Central Bank, and he makes all the financial decisions. Since the fiscal year is coming to an end, it's the best time to make these changes. Like Ulysses said, 6 months is a very reasonable time frame to get these on board and changed for everybody. After getting Alan on board, we would just talk with Mark Packard, who's the president of the bank, making sure that he's on board as well, listening to any feedback he has and any changes he wants to make. In the end, Alan does make the decision, but it would be great to have everybody on board. The last person would just be talking to the head of accounting named Rusty Reed, who would make the adjustments internally and make sure that everything's up to par there. And then the last part would be meeting with the managers, which they have a meeting every single month. So we would just kind of put this in that same meeting, and we would hear any feedback they have. It might not be super, they might not be super on board at the beginning, but we would make sure to show them actual data, which I'll talk about in just a second. So first of all, Alan being on board is going to be the key, and then we'll show them how many more opportunities we might have if we can hire at a higher rate, which would be awesome. And then we'll give them a list of the tasks that are completed by lower level employees every day compared to the job description of maybe a higher job. and showing just the difference in responsibility and why they specifically deserve more pay. After that, it would be easy to show them that data because most of them are data driven. They're math people, so this would be a great place to start. And then we would just listen to their feedback and go from there to figure out a plan. So in conclusion, raising pay rates and including the lower level employees in quarterly bonuses is essential for increasing employee satisfaction. When the managers and executives can understand how everything else can change for the better in the organization, they'll be more than willing to jump on board. Thank you for listening.